1. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Online at madeformorerealty.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
On the show today is my second favorite guest of all time, my ex-girlfriend, my baby mama, Miss Valary Jennings.
Hello. So who's your first favorite
my
guest
wife. Then? I don't know. I'm really hoping.
Wow, you just know that you're leaving room for someone else. You're just saying
rude.
She can't be my top favorite, but she's right there.
You're my second favorite and my favorite. How's that?
Perfect.
I don't understand
Top two
what
spots,
that means.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. you take the cake. By the way, we can just start the show with this. Valary has an interesting announcement, and I knew first. I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out. I knew first, and I knew first because when this has happened, the previous two times, business has been going crazy. Like it's all of a sudden there's just like this hockey stick up, and business just ticks up. And so I was like, Val, I
think I know what it is.
Are you pregnant?
Oh, I thought it was you guys were moving to Houston.
Houston? Oh, gosh, no. Definitely not.
Well, at first I said, no way.
This is your third, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, and I totally dismissed it, and I blew Johnny off, and then sure enough,
What were the signs that you thought she was pregnant?
Because business was ticking up. Like some of our best years have been when she's pregnant.
Oh, really?
And so I was like, boom, all of a sudden, escrow, short escrow. It's like, it's just raining escrows down on us, just raining opportunities. And I'm like, Val, are you pregnant? And
kind of like joking, but not joking at the same time. Because we opened like 6 in 1 week, and so Johnny was just like kind of joking around, and turns out he was right.
Did you go to the store, to Walgreens or wherever, and pick up a pregnancy test?
No, that's not how I roll. I think those things are
How
kind of
did you guys
gross,
find out?
honestly.
Did you go to the doctor and they told you?
No, Valary peed on a stick or whatever the heck it is.
Oh my gosh.
But I think that's weird. So I'm not going to go, here, can you do this for me? You know?
So how many weeks along were you before you knew?
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 days.
2 days?
What?
There's no way.
You mean like 5 weeks, 4 weeks?
How far along were you? You guys have gone to the doctor?
You know how this works, right?
I do. So you know.
Like, are we going to get into the details
wait,
here
very
on
early
the
2 days after
like,
conception, you knew that you were
No,
pregnant?
not conception. No. Like, okay, 4 weeks.
Okay, so you knew about a month in
And
that you
2
were
days. Put it all together here, guys. Like,
Oh,
what
I
happens
get it.
at
Okay,
4
okay.
weeks,
You're
okay?
You're right. She has a good point there.
come on.
I guess because our minds don't work that way. So you're right. There we go. I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. We should have put two and two together.
I was like 2 weeks into this, and then she's like, "Nah, you're crazy." And then
No,
2
you
weeks,
were- yeah, you
and then
were
2
right.
weeks later goes by, and she's like, "Oh wow, maybe I am."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Boom, Johnny's right.
Johnny was right again.
That's
Never
right.
gets old hearing that."
That's exciting, though. Are you guys excited? I mean,
Yeah, super
That's-
stoked.
you're outnumbered now.
Yeah, we will be.
You will be.
We'll be.
And you guys want a boy or a girl, or are
Yes.
you okay with whatever?
No, I was really hoping for a girl because we have 2 little boys already, you know. But as time ticks on, I'm a little bit nervous about a girl, so I kind of like default to what I'm already dealing with.
Yeah, we already know boys, so we're like, adding another one might be fun.
I remember
Yeah.
when my wife and I we had 2 boys, and she was pregnant, and we were just thinking, like, we love our boys. Our boys are great, are fantastic. A lot of people want us to have a girl, but we'd be perfectly fine having another boy because boys are great,
Yeah.
and they're less drama. And we now have a girl, obviously, and we are blessed by Ruby. But yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. It's different challenges for sure. She is way more dramatic and emotional, and it's fun. It has its ups, a lot different joys and excitement and experiences with having a girl, but also different challenges.
So I skew boy now, but I don't know where Valary lies. Would you prefer to have a girl?
I think I'm still kind of 50-50,
Really?
Well, part of it probably is me being a woman also. Like, I feel like that would be nice to have some of that energy in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
and
guys
have
already
like a
know?
daughter, have a daughter that I can like braid her hair and we can play Polly Pockets and stuff, like, you know.
It's
Watch,
true.
if you do have a daughter, she'd end up being a tomboy and like not
That's
want any of that
probably
stuff.
true. You
Yeah.
know, just it would be my luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I remember we had Ruby, all of our friends and family. When you have a girl, the more the family just wants to buy gifts. So when you have a girl, it's okay. This is exciting. Now we get to go shopping because there's all kinds of stuff that she gets. She gets way more gifts than her brothers do by far.
wow.
Well, is it also maybe because she's the youngest too? Like,
I think they just
baby.
there's different our boys, it's like, okay, you can get them Legos and video games. That's about it. Girls, oh my gosh, there's jewelry and there's dresses and there's girl toys and it just goes on and on and on. And the moms and the aunts and the cousins, they like shopping for girls. And to be honest, I do too. It's way more fun to shop for girls than it is for boys. Absolutely.
Well, we'll see. We're gonna do a little party with like family and friends.
Like a gender reveal party?
Yeah, on my birthday. So we'll
next month.
So it's September 20th. In case anybody wants to get me a gift.
All of a sudden,
Celebrate
it's about Johnny.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
We already know your gender.
We'll do that.
Don't need a gender reveal party for Johnny.
Oh man, yeah. So we're gonna do that. But I'm curious to see how the boys, like our two sons, interact with the
So I'll
new
tell you
one.
this. When Levi was born, Noah, his oldest brother, was all about it. He walked into the hospital room, wanted to hold the baby. He was very protective of him.
Okay.
He didn't want anyone to hold him or take him away. He says, no, this is my brother. And so that has just been amazing. So I think I've heard many families say that siblings just respond more than what you would expect.
Yeah, I'm hoping the boys are starting to get along and not get along right now, because they're starting to interact more.
Sure.
So that's fun to see. But it's gonna be a journey. The question we also get a lot of is, are you gonna want any more children, anything like that? And that's something we're not quite sure about. We'll take it day by day. I know some families who have had like 2-3 kids, and the most recent child that was born totally blew up the plan because they're like, oh my gosh, this kid is crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with another one. And so we'll see. We'll see what.
Pastor of our church has 13 kids.
13.
13. Some of them are adopted, but still 13 kids.
I was doing a showing. I was on a listing appointment recently. Since this is a real estate show, we'll see if we can weave some kids into it. I walk up, and there's like 2 kids sitting on the front porch, and then I go inside the house, and there's just a little girl just sitting inside. And I'm like walking throughout this house. I'm like, okay, there's 2, 3. I'm trying to keep track of them. We go into the master bedroom. There's a kid in a doona with a blanket over it, and like sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, and so like we're walking through, being quiet. I'm like, how many kids these people had? They had 8, but they were all scattered across.
Isn't that incredible?
That's so many kids. Yeah. We were pulling up to church recently, and we saw a big family getting out of one of those huge vans.
Yeah.
And Valary goes, Johnny, that's what's happened. That's what happens when you have a lot of kids, because it was chaos. Like dad's trying to keep kids from running in the street. Girls are crying. Like it was just absolute chaos. But
Well, and it was one of those like, what are they like? Not Dodge Caravan. What's the word I'm looking for? Like those big like
minivan or a
no, not a
cargo van?
Yeah.
yeah,
like
one
the
of those big
next
Ford cargo vans
that you can fit like 14 people
Express
in or
van.
something.
That's
yeah.
what we used to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
anyways, with growing families, you gotta.
Well,
get
Charlie
houses.
Kirk says, and I wonder what you think about this. He says that you should get married early and have more kids than you can afford. What do you think about that?
As far as getting married early,
And it's easy for him to say. Obviously, he makes millions of dollars,
Right,
and
right.
he
Coming
can afford
from him.
anything.
so as far as getting married early, that's something that Valor and I have talked about, right? Gorgeous. Like, what's your take on that?
I mean, I think it has pros and cons. I think the biggest con to waiting to get married. I mean, obviously you meet your spouse whenever you meet them, right? So you can't always control it, but the fact that people will like grow their personality by themselves, and then when you add another person into the mix, you're changing your, not saying you're changing your personality, but you in order to get along with somebody, you can't have this like, oh, well, I do it a certain way. And it's
Right.
You become more inflexible the longer you wait. Like,
Yeah.
it's harder to grow alongside somebody, if you're like 40 years old before you get married. I think, obviously sometimes it is what it is, and that's
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you find your person. But when you get married young, I think you get that opportunity to grow together, which is pretty cool. I think it's a unique experience.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for context, I was 24 and you were 21.
When we got married,
When we
yeah,
were
but
married.
we met, you were 21 and I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, some people listening to this will go, oh my gosh, I got married really young.
Mm-hmm.
Some people listening to this go, oh, you waited till you were old. It just kind of depends
Context,
on
yeah.
your
Yeah,
upbringing.
my mom was married when she was 17.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
At that point, by the time, so when did she have her first kid? Your mom.
17.
Okay, right. And so by the time, Valary was 17, I hadn't even met her yet. I can't imagine having a kid at 17. But
But I think Charlie is concerned at the way the culture is going, where people are waiting longer and longer to get married and waiting longer to have kids and having fewer amount of kids, where he sees our society is built on strong, healthy marriages and having kids and those family values. And he sees the way the culture is going. It's, we're waiting and it's not becoming a priority anymore. And he thinks we should go back to that. Getting married young, at least when you're healthy. Don't just go be reckless and marry the first person you meet. But,
Right.
But don't wait. Don't have long engagements. Don't sit there and keep dating someone and living with someone. Just get married, for goodness sakes, if you believe it's the right person, and have kids right away. Don't wait till everything's perfect.
so that's what Valary and I talk about. Like, again, we got married relatively young, 24 and 21.
And you didn't have everything set perfect in your life at that point.
Not even
No,
close.
no,
yeah.
we were trying to wait until Valary finished college because that was really important to me that she have a college degree. Like, it was important to Valary, it was important to her parents, but I would say, at least from my perspective, I was the driving force behind making sure she got the degree, because I'd seen a lot of my friends' parents go through divorces, and the wives did not have degrees.
Right.
And so he was the primary breadwinner, and now all of a sudden he's out of the picture, and she either has to provide for herself and now these kids. And not saying that Valary and I were going to get a divorce, but it was very important to me that Valary be able to take care of herself, because one, if something did happen to me, I wanted her to be able to take care of herself. Two, I wanted her to be able to take care of her kids. And three, I didn't want to question whether or not she was in that relationship with me simply because she had to.
Right.
Like, I wanted her to be there. But all that being said, Valary and I have talked where we wish we would have gotten married sooner. Like, I wish I would have known Valary sooner.
Yeah.
So I from that aspect about Charlie Kirk, I totally get it. But the Charlie Kirk thing is, you can't solve what he's trying to solve by just getting married and having kids.
Right.
There's more of a cultural shift that needs to take place, and I think if the cultural shift takes place, then it leads to getting married, staying married, and having kids.
Yeah.
And raising good kids too. I mean, you can have as many kids as you want,
Right.
right? But then if those people aren't growing up to be quality individuals, then like, what was the point?
Contributors
Right.
to
Yeah.
society.
So tying this into real estate, do you think someone should wait until their career is established, till they've graduated from college, until they have a great income where they can support a family before buying a house?
Before buying a
Do
house,
you think all the ducks should be in a row and everything perfect before they buy their first home? Or should they just jump in?
What do you think, Gorgeous?
I mean, this a certain amount of like life is never going to be perfect, right? Like we tried to wait until all of our ducks were in a row to have kids, and it's at some point you just got to do it, right? And that being said, I don't think you should jump into a bad financial situation. Like, don't buy a house you can't afford, right? But at the same time, like, you're not going to have every single thing lined up perfectly in your life. So I'd say get in now, because the investment is only going to grow over time.
Yep.
And if you keep waiting, you're just throwing that equity away.
I would sit down. Like, everybody's situation is a little bit different. Reach out to your local realtor. You can reach out to us. You just go to madeformorerealty.com. We're happy to have this conversation with you. I literally was sitting with a woman yesterday. She's going through a horrible situation. She's been married, I think like 47 years. And there's just a lot going on there. And I sat her down and I was like, darling, I don't think selling your house is the right option for you right now. I think there are some other things that we can do. I'm not getting paid to give you this information. I'm not getting paid to suggest these alternatives to you, but I think this might be better for you based off what you're describing to me. And so a good real estate agent is going to do that and sit down and go, okay, why do you want to buy a home? What are your goals? What's your job look like? What's it going to look like in 3 to 5 years? And just making sure that you have that game plan together. Because if you're here and you're planning on moving in the next 1 to 2 years, don't do it. Mm-hmm. There are so many people right now, so many people who bought in 2021 and 2022 that have negative equity. Yeah. Their house is worth less than what they paid for it. And they come to me and they say, hey, I paid this much for my house. I need to make this much money, so this is how much my house is worth. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like if you wanted to sell a car, you didn't pay $20,000 for the car. You want to make $5,000, so now the car's worth $25,000. That's not how it works.
Well, they've seen, over the past many years how that has worked. How every year the prices go up and up, and they're that's the way it's supposed to be.
And they will again, but it hasn't been long enough. It's only been 3 years. That when you buy real estate, unless you're like a flipper and you buy it at a cash deal, you really you need to hold it a lot longer than that.
And so that's my main concern is sitting down, what's your life plan look like? Where are you at your job? How much money do you have to put down? Because you put enough money down, even if you are negative equity, you can still sell the house. It's going to cost you money, but at least you're not having to short sale and damage your credit. Mm-hmm. You're not having to walk away and get a foreclosure. You have more options. But again, so that would be my recommendation. Generally speaking, I would suggest not buying a home. What I would recommend is buying an investment property that you live in. So live in one unit, rent out the other, and that I think should be your first home, especially if you're young, especially if you don't have kids. Do that and start building that portfolio. You can use a first-time home buyer program in order to buy that, 4 units or less. There's so many benefits to buying an investment property first rather than buying a home and then trying to buy an investment property. So that would be my suggestion to people looking to start sooner rather than later.
Yeah. That's good thoughts.
But when we come out, we will be talking about why more deals are falling apart in today's market and how you can prevent that from happening to you.
Hey, real quick, if you're thinking about selling your home and you want someone to hold your hand through the entire process every step of the way because you just feel like you have no idea what you're doing, no problem. Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Realty, they've got the experience, the know-how, the resources to make it an easy process to get you the most money possible for your home in the fastest amount of time. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
So before we get into the top reasons why contracts, why escrows, why people looking to buy a house decided, hey, I'm going to cancel this and wait, why they fell out in June. Matt, you had some questions about...
Yeah, because you mentioned before the break that you and Valary had purchased your first home at a young age, a week before you were even married?
Yeah.
Did your parents think, oh, this is crazy? Why are you taking such a big leap even before you're married?
This is why I love having Valary on the show. It's like a trip down memory lane. So to give you some...
This is why she's your favorite number one guest.
Number one and number two.
And number two.
So the reason, so to add some context, to add some color to the situation, mind you, I am living in a trailer park in South Bakersfield, technically right next to a town called Pumpkin.
Are you living with your family
Center.
Or you're living alone in a trailer park?
I'm living alone in a trailer park. It's actually my dad's trailer, so it's not even my trailer. And I'm working in the oil fields.
At least you had your own place. You weren't living at home, know?
Yeah.
The way things are nowadays, a lot of people at that age are still living at home.
Nope. I was living in a trailer park. My neighbors were Janet and Lloyd. And... Southland RV. You can.
Did it have wheels on it, or this?
Oh no, it had wheels.
Oh, it did.
You hook it up to a truck and you pull it. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Not a moment.
I loved it. I'd be living there now.
So you were renting it. You didn't own it.
My dad owned it.
Did you have to pay him rent, or was this free?
So he let me stay there. I paid the space rent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was the situation. But so Valary and I engaged. We got engaged on February 29th, 2012, and so we were going to get married on March 30th, 2013. So during this period of time, I'm researching about how I can buy a house. I'm like, okay, I'm getting married. I need to buy a house. And Valary doesn't want to live in the trailer. So we got to find an alternative here. So what I did, I asked around some people about, hey, how did you buy your first house? I got some vague answers. I wasn't comfortable with the information. They didn't seem comfortable giving the information. And so I was like, you know what? Books are cheap or free at the library. So I ended up reading over 1,000 pages on how to buy real estate. And during that process, something that stood out to me was buying a multifamily property where you can live in one part of the property and rent out the other. And so that ended up being the first house Valary and I had. We bought it in Bakersfield.
Oh, were you living in Bakersfield at the time?
Yeah.
So where did you find this property? How did you search for this? Did you just go online? You were looking
think it
for
was the realtor.
The realtor found it. I did not have a smartphone at this time.
So you got a realtor
literally.
and you're saying, this is what I'm looking for.
Anything that was like 2 units or more and within our budget, obviously.
Within the budget. Yeah. And so she got we closed on the house a week before we got married.
And how much was that?
The purchase price?
Yeah.
It was like 189.
I don't even know if it was that high.
No, because I think we sold it for 189.
We sold it.
So it was like 140 something, I think.
Or 180. I think it was 180. I don't remember.
And it was 2 units. You lived in one, which was what, 700 square feet, or how many?
Yeah, it was like, I would say probably 800 or 900 square feet. It was a little 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
Oh, so it was, okay.
And then in the back, like, because it was a big lot, right? And there was an alley access. And so in the back.
It was 1 bath. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The pink tile. Yeah.
You don't need more than 1 bath for 2 people.
Well, when your resale value, yeah, typically more than 1 bathroom is good. But we had a whole like little in-law unit in the back that was probably like 200 square feet. It was so
really?
small.
I'm thinking like a 4-plex or a triplex or something.
Well,
so
we got there
This is a
eventually.
regular house with some kind of shed in the back.
Okay, 400 square feet maybe. It wasn't a shed. It was like a real, it had laundry, it had a kitchen, it had a bathroom. Cool. It was a real like rentable unit.
Okay.
So
Like a studio, like a flat.
Yeah, so we rented to a friend from church, and he, because he was also kind of in the same phase where he was thinking about getting married to his girlfriend, and so they were making those plans, and he needed somewhere to live.
And save some money. Super nice guy.
So you guys had some income from that rent.
Yeah, helped offset the mortgage.
Helped offset the mortgage. Yeah, I pulled it up right now. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,486 square feet.
Oh, 14.
Because what happened, I think where you're confused is they enclosed the breezeway.
The breezeway.
Yeah.
They counted that as square footage. Interesting.
Yeah.
When you bought it, they had enclosed it, or this is later?
It was already
It was
enclosed.
already. We didn't do really any work.
You didn't
on
do
it.
any work on it, but yet you still sold it for more than you had bought it for?
We just waited. The market was going up. Oh my gosh, it still has the same tile.
No way.
You're looking at the
I'm
I
looking
thought
at
they
it right
rehabbed
now.
it.
Remember, guys,
They
this is Bakersfield.
They rehabbed one of the. Oh, I love Bakersfield.
Me too.
They rehabbed one of the bathrooms, but not the kitchen.
Really?
At least in the photos. Yeah. And so it's
Straight out of the 1940s.
Its estimate right now is $380.
Nice.
So
This is why you buy and hold real estate, folks. Like,
Yeah.
we could have made $200,000 off that place if we still owned
13
it. So,
years ago, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still having that rental income come in,
Yeah. We ended up selling it though because we didn't want to be long distance landlords.
Mm-hmm.
That was something.
Oh, because you hadn't moved?
Yeah.
We had to
So
move.
we closed on the property. So some of the things that we tell people, you do this because
Not to do.
It's because you've lived through it, right?
Yeah.
You've lived
Right.
through it. And so we bought the house. I was working for a company named PCL in Bakersfield. I was a contractor in the oil fields. I ended up getting a job for Chevron in the oil fields. I didn't even think about Chevron shipping me back to Coalinga, where I'm from, where I'm born and raised. It turns out that's the only reason why I was hired. So
Because nobody else would go.
because nobody wanted to go to Coalinga. So we closed on the house in March. I started my job with Chevron in June, and in August they had me working in Coalinga. And so not even a few months later, I wasn't even living in the house anymore. And so we had to then rent out the front and the back unit, and we were long-distance landlords.
We did that for a year.
And that's tough because you probably
But it
didn't have
was-
a property manager or anything like that, right?
No, we
Or
did.
you?
We used a property manager out the gate.
Oh,
But
okay.
they weren't good. And
No, in
it was,
Bakersfield. In Bakersfield.
No, I know. And I feel like, or they weren't good, or we weren't cash flowing, or whatever the situation was.
Yeah,
we just were like, we need to sell this. We can't.
Yeah, the cash, it was really tight on the cash flow. Like it was costing us, I think, a little bit every month to do it, but costing us a little versus costing us a lot if we were to sell it for a loss. So we waited it out and sold the property. And I don't
like
think
less than 2 years later.
we ended up not losing money, but we didn't make a whole lot either.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to be those long distance landlords.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, good experience for that first, purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. And but you know what? When we closed on that first house, we realized, owning a home is much different than being a tenant. The main line was backed up. We had to fix that. There was like a slew of things that went wrong.
Yeah.
And
But we realized that we could be making income off of it. So then we did it again a few more times because it just, having that income, even if you're living there, is just like a game changer. It's such a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it was definitely a pivotal moment when all of a sudden somebody, like a friend, hands you a check. I don't know what it was, $600 or $800. Like not like, it's not like I won the lottery.
Yeah.
But he hands me a check and I did like nothing for it except let him crash on the couch, so to speak.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. Well,
How
this
many
is cool.
available types of property? How many of those types of property are available in our area that someone could do what you guys did?
There's a number of them. There's duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes.
Yeah.
Anything over 4 is considered commercial, and so the requirement changes. But as far as
But you're saying they're out there
absolutely,
100%.
for a first-time home buyer to take advantage of where they live in one unit and rent out the other unit.
yeah,
Most of them are not like shiny, special
Sure.
new houses. Like they're
like all of those multifamilies are built in the 70s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause they're not building those anymore.
not really.
not so often.
No.
Yeah.
Not new construction at least. Yeah,
But yeah, it's that advantage of, hey, you own something and you're able to still live there, but at the same time you have someone that's giving you a check every month to help off balance that mortgage payment.
yeah. And so that was the big game changer for us when we had the place in Bakersfield, then we bought the place in Kalinga, and it was a triplex. Still wish we had that triplex
I
to
know.
this day.
Regret.
But we lived in one unit, rented out the other 2. So now instead of getting one check from somebody,
Wow.
we're getting 2 checks, and we're like, oh, this is even better.
I think it covered the entire mortgage. The only thing that we had out of cost was like keeping the lights on in the carport, stuff
Or maybe
like
like
that.
the
where
lawn.
They offset the entire cost of what it would have cost us to rent living there. Yeah.
So somebody looking to do something similar, I would recommend get as many units as you can.
Yeah.
Right. So go 3, go 4.
Right.
Live
4
in-
is the maximum you can do, though, right?
So if you want to get like an FHA loan, right, like 3.5% down, a conventional 3% loan, like very low money down,
Right.
and get into home ownership, right? Then you want to stay under 4 units. If you wanted to go the more commercial route, then you can go more than 4 units.
But then you have to have like 20% down, and you don't get like the owner occupied benefits. Of
Right.
It.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we could there were 3 water heaters to depreciate. There were 3 ACs to depreciate. There was all this other stuff tax wise that you could take advantage of. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. And we can certainly help you with that. There's lots of opportunities out there, and keep in mind these places are probably not where you'd want to live long term, right?
Right. But just to get going.
But you know what? If you're willing to sacrifice a little in the short term, live there for 6 months, a year, then find another place. So, but I think this is really important that we touch on the top reasons why contracts are falling out. Because Valary, for a slew of reasons, how many contracts do you think we've lost, like recently?
So like 4, I think, in the last week.
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we never lose
Yeah.
lose contracts.
So this is decisions on the buyers, the sellers, financing not coming through.
Buyers-
People are just scared. It's all of it.
For us, it's a smattering of things, but our data sample is really small. If you look at it from a more bird's eye point of view, the number one reason why people are canceling is because of an inspection issue. The seller did not. That's 28%? 28% of homes canceled because, like, for example, Haley, we talked about this on a previous show.
Oh, yeah.
There was an issue with the main line. Haley's sellers did not inspect the main line before going on the market, and there's an issue with the main line. The main line is the sewer line that runs from the house to the street or from the house to the
There's
alley.
a leak in it or roots growing into it.
There was
or
an issue. It
something?
needed to be replaced. And it was going to cost, do you remember how much? Like
18 grand.
18 grand.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's crazy.
So the seller thinks they're going to make so
Yeah.
much money, and then all of a sudden it's been reduced by $18,000.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is ridiculous. It works fine. I don't need that. Another buyer comes through, and they're like, hey, the main line needs to be replaced. It's going to be 18 grand. And she's like, okay. Right. But if she had done the inspections up front, it wouldn't have been a surprise to her and wouldn't have been a surprise to her buyers. And she wouldn't have lost out on that first buyer that came through the property. She wouldn't have.
What would you advise her to do in that situation? Replace the main line, or you just tell people, hey, if you purchase this home, you might need to replace the main line. It works fine for us, but just to let you know, may down the road need to be replaced. What would you advise that person to do?
Yeah. Go ahead, girly.
Well, I think every situation's a little bit different. Like, depending on the buyer's ability to do things like that, and the seller's ability too. I mean, like, there's lots of contractors that will take care of the work and then get paid through escrow. Like, there are, because a lot of people don't just have 18 grand laying around that they can do repairs like that, right? So in that scenario, I'd say get the work done, have it paid through escrow. But sometimes if you have a really savvy person, or if it's a smaller repair, not an $18,000 repair, then you can always just, give the buyer a credit and say, hey, here, you can take care of this, and then that way they can hire their own contractor or whatever they want to do with that money post-closing.
But I can see how somebody's going in, they're excited about purchasing a home, and then all of a sudden you totally change their expectations and what they thought they were buying.
Yeah.
And so they get freaked out. It's like, oh, okay, this is not what I was expecting. I'm done for now.
What we're hearing a lot of is, so to put a fine point on what Valary said, if the lender does not require it prior to close,
Right.
try to do the credit. Because as soon as people start doing work on something, sometimes the scope grows. And so now what was an 18 may end up being a 21, which now costs, if you represent the seller, more money. And it shifts the burden of responsibility off the seller onto the buyer. If you give them a credit and say, hey, here's some money, you fix it yourself, find your own contractors. That way, if you fix it and the repair fails, even years down the road, the buyer can come back and say, hey, you were supposed to fix it, you didn't, fix it again. So we strongly recommend the credit if you're able to do that and still close the deal. But what I'm hearing a lot of sellers say right now is, hey, Johnny, I'm only going to sell this house as is. This is an as-is sale. We're not going to do any repairs, no concessions, no nothing. It's an as-is sale. And so when the conversation comes up of pre-inspections, they're like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm selling it as is. They can expect whatever they want, but they're going to have to pay to fix it. And unfortunately, that's another reason why you're seeing houses fall out of escrow, is because sellers are unwilling to negotiate with buyers on, like, if buyer one wants health and safety issues fixed, if these are lender required items, guess what? Buyer two is going to want the same things.
Yep.
But it goes back to sellers are not accustomed to hearing my house is worth less. I'm not going to make as much money as my neighbor did last year. But
doesn't he have a point when he says, hey, I've made it clear it's as is?
So every sale is an as-is sale in California. Most people don't realize that. Every sale is an as-is sale. It says it right there in the purchase agreement multiple times, as-is sale. But the buyer has the right to inspect the property. The buyer doesn't know what they're getting when they write the contract. Even if you've provided them with some seller disclosures and inspection reports, they still have the right to inspect the property. And when they get done with those inspections, your typical house is going to be a home inspection, a roof inspection, a pest inspection, and appraisal. Once they get all those reports back, then they can submit to you a request for repairs. And as the seller, because this is an as-is sale, you can either accept the request, you can flat out reject the request, or you can negotiate. And if you're unwilling to negotiate and you're just going to reject the request, then you know what? The buyer says, fine, that's totally your house, your rules. I know you only want to sell it as is. I'm going to look for somebody else. And
So
then the deal blows up.
You're saying that right now we're in a climate where more of these contracts are
Falling through.
Are falling through.
Yep.
Well, what's going on? Why more now than 5 years ago? What's happening now that this is happening?
Yeah. So I think there's less wiggle room to negotiate. Sellers need to make top dollar, and top dollar is just not cutting it for them right now because, again, their home was worth less, and buyers are scared. Buyers are terrified. Why why would I buy a house worth X today if it's going to be worth X minus $20,000 potentially in 6 months? So and you're not even going to help me out with these repairs. I'm taking on this extra risk, and you're not even willing to meet me in the middle. And also keep in mind, inventory is climbing significantly in our area. So if they don't like your house, they can find another house that they would like. They can find another seller who's willing to negotiate. Yeah. So the sellers are no longer kings. They're no longer the dictators of this transaction. They have to come to the negotiation table and work it out. Is that kind of what you're seeing, sweetheart?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The negotiation has become a little bit more hardball on both sides. Like, I think that's why the contracts are getting a little bit iffy, because there's less like flexibility in people to negotiate, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the number one reason why inspections fell through. The number two reason is the sellers got cold feet or nervous.
Buyers?
Buyers or sellers. Buyers or sellers.
Yeah.
Buyer/seller. So if they're selling and buying, right? Like we had a client recently. Valary did a phenomenal job. By the way, we've been working with this lady for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's always like, hey, I'm gonna start the process after my next trip. 2 years later, we list the house. Valary gets her an incredible offer. They are willing to wait for her to find her next property. She didn't want to even look at properties until she knew what her house was selling for, right? We wouldn't recommend that, but this is what she wanted. So Valary's accommodating, being the professional that she is, and helping. Valary goes out and finds her another property. Valary, this property was in contract. Valary was able to negotiate so that way if the contract fell through, we were the next choice in line. Just by happenstance, the contract fell out. We get in there. So now Valary has gotten the house sold. Yeah. And she's gotten it negotiated for the perfect deal for her buyer/seller on this replacement property. And then, mind you, this is 2 years in the making. 2 years in the making. The seller, our client says, hey, you know what? I'm just nervous about the market. I'm pulling the plug on the whole thing. I'm not buying a property. I'm not selling a property. I'm staying put. Again, her choice. Totally get that. But that sentiment of uncertainty is, just by what we're seeing right here, very common in the market.
What I don't understand is people who are in that situation, they don't have any understanding of all the work that's been gone into this, right?
Well, in all fairness to them, it doesn't matter. Like
I know, but that's not, I don't feel like that's right. That just seems wrong. I mean, I know from your perspective it does, but you would think a person with common sense or any type of heart would understand, wait a minute, I'm making these people work and do all this stuff, and for me to just pull the plug, that's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I signed up for it. Valary and I signed up for it. We're in this industry. Yeah. Like, we understand that. But who my heart hurts for are the people who, like, the person who's wanting to buy her house.
Yeah.
They were all ready to go, and now they can't buy the house. The person who's wanting to sell their house to her, now all of a sudden they can't sell their house. Like, they didn't sign up for that. They don't understand how all this works. And so I get it. Again, I'm not coming down on the client. Like, you need to do what makes you feel comfortable, but at the same time, like, your decisions have consequences beyond yourself.
Yeah, not only just the agents, like you said, but all the other clients involved, like those people that are counting on that house to move into or that money to come through that they needed. Now it's no longer there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, those are the number two reasons. So how you can avoid your house falling out of escrow or anything bad happening to your situation, make sure that you have those pre-inspections done. We have a fantastic vendor, Good Life Inspections. They do almost every type of inspection you can think of. So reach out to us, madeformorerealty.com, and we can get you their contact info. And then 2, if you're going to begin this process, make sure that you're comfortable with it and willing to see it through. And make sure your buyer, if you're selling your house, is willing to see it through. Why are they buying the house? What's their motivation? How's their financing look? Make sure all those things are identified and clear, so that way there's no surprises 10, 20, 30 days down the road.
Hey, real quick, if you're thinking about selling your home and you want someone to hold your hand through the entire process, every step of the way, because you just feel like you have no idea what you're doing, no problem. Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Realty, they've got the experience, the know-how, the resources to make it an easy process to get you the most money possible for your home in the fastest amount of time. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
In the studio with us today is Miss Valary Jennings, and so we are, talking all things real estate. She's my wife and fellow real estate broker with the Made for More Realty. And Valary, I'd like to get your take on, well, what would you advise somebody if they said, hey, you know what, I want to wait. I'm thinking I can't get the price I want now. I'm going to wait and try later. What would you suggest to them?
So talking to a seller, a multitude of different things. So one, inventory is going up every day. So your competition is increasing day by day.
Yep.
Also, interest rates are not going down anytime soon. Like, we've seen a little bit of a dip, and everybody hopes they're going to go down, but we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
So typically interest rates going down are the only way that prices go up, because people, can only afford what they can afford.
Yeah.
And a third reason would, honestly, not to be negative, but prices are going down. Like, the longer you wait, you're not going to get more. You're going to get less for your home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And that's now we're wading into a bit of a speculation. And so
true.
That's
true.
I don't know what the future holds, but if the numbers make sense now,
yeah, why not?
Sell now.
Yeah.
Here's what I told somebody this yesterday. They were saying, well, you know what? I'm just going to wait for prices to recover in the spring. And I said, well, prices are starting to fall. It looks like they're going to continue to fall throughout the rest of the year. Like, either they're going to remain flat or go up 10 grand at your price point. Like, we're not talking recovering, and you're paying a mortgage for the next 6 months.
And the prices didn't recover this spring. We didn't get our spring that we normally have.
That's a good point.
So what's to say that's going to happen next year?
Yeah, so I would just be very cautious. If you're looking to do something in the short term, the difference between now and spring is going to be negligible. And if anything, it's looking like it may hurt you. Because here's the thing, I've talked about this before on the show with Matt. There's more and more evidence that's coming out that the Fed may have lost control with this whole mortgage rates thing. Just because they drop the rates doesn't mean the interest rates are going to go down.
Right.
China is not buying American bonds. Not unsurprising with, a trade war going on with them right now.
But then why do you think the president is pushing so hard for them to cut rates then?
I don't know. But because they dropped the rates.
Donald Trump's in real estate.
He is in real estate, and he's also in politics. And I don't know why. Hasn't for many decades and years, hasn't that been connected though? Is this what you're saying, just a recent type of change? It has been loosely connected. It has not been like lock and step. So just because the Fed drops the rates doesn't mean interest rates go down in tandem. You can look at the charts over the last however many years, and you would see that they don't move, in concert.
And so just clarify, why is it changing recently?
I think the power of the Fed is changing. I think the global economic power of the United States has shifted in the last 30 years. And the people who were buying American debt, because let's be real, but all they're selling is American debt. These bonds, they're American debt that the government is saying, hey, we will give you X amount of an interest rate and pay you back in so many years. And people are saying, hey, you know what? You have nearly $30 trillion worth of debt. Oh, by the way, you're also sanctioning us. These government entities that were buying the debt are no longer interested in buying the debt. So you can't, if somebody's not going to buy a product that you have, how are you going to sell it?
Right.
And so that, I think, has been a fundamental shift. And interest rates remain high. Unemployment remains a problem. Inflation remains a problem. They haven't gotten a handle on that. So just because you drop the interest rates, just because the federal fund rate drops, doesn't mean all these other factors go away. And so right now people are saying, hey, they're going to wait for lower rates. And the trade-off that they need to be aware of is what does that mean, waiting for a lower rate? My question is, what does a lower rate mean to you? Like, what rate are you waiting for? Right? Many people are saying
they're waiting for the bottom.
They're waiting for the bottom. They're waiting
what's
for,
the bottom? Negative?
They're waiting for threes. People are, because a lot of people, I'm going to wait for a 3. I'm like, oh my word, son, that's good luck. Good luck. If you get something in the 3s, the government is paying you.
But they're saying, but my neighbor, they've got 3.25% interest rate. I want to wait till I can get that deal.
They also paid $50,000 more than their house is probably worth right now.
Correct. They're also underwater on the mortgage.
Yeah.
maybe.
Possibly.
That's a really good point, sweetheart. I never thought of that. Take
That's
that,
right, Ron.
Take that, Mr. 3. Mr. 3%. So everybody, a lot of people are like focused on the 6% number. I don't know if it was Trump or whoever else said it, but supposedly hitting 6% could unlock an additional 5.5 million buyers in the market. So everybody's kind of just waiting on this affordability thing. But I really, that doesn't make any sense, because just if you unlock 5.5 million buyers, well, if supply is just going to be consumed, you're just going to keep prices high, or you're going to increase the prices. Like, it's not going to make a huge change in the overall market by unlocking potentially. This is also potential. These aren't like hard numbers. It's not like there's 5.5 million people pre-approved waiting for interest rates to go down. Like, this is speculation. And anyways, so if you wait, one, it's going to cost you more money, right? Because potentially you're renting, or you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, or you're not taking that job promotion, or you're not going to start that business because you're waiting to move, right?
Right.
And then if you do wait, everybody else is waiting too. So now you're just going to be competing with everybody else for the inventory.
Well, and I think this is a huge point. You can always refinance, right?
You can.
So
Yeah.
you always have that in your pocket, right?
Yeah. As long as the interest rates are lower. There are a lot of people who thought, in
But I mean, let's say, you have folks that are, I want to wait till interest rates get to the bottom. Well, you can, if interest rates change, you can always refinance, right?
Yeah, you technically, you could if you can refinance, right? If interest rates drop.
I have some clients that I just helped them buy a house about 6-7 months ago, and they're already refinancing because rates have dropped a little bit since then. And for them, it's, because they have a large loan amount. For them, it's worth it. They're saving probably a couple $100s a month already at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. So that's kind of where, if somebody was waiting to make a move until interest rates drop, my question would be like, one, what interest rate are you looking for? Because if you're looking for something in the fours, you know what? We could probably
find that.
We could find that
today,
for you.
Yeah.
New construction is offering that.
Yeah.
Sellers are willing to buy down the rates for you. We can get you that rate. We don't necessarily have to wait for too late Powell to make it available for everybody else, right?
Exactly.
Also, now you're calling him too late, pal?
I'm just making fun. But so one, what is it you're looking for? Is this really your reason? Are interest rates really your reason, or is that just your excuse? Okay. I would argue for most people it's an excuse. So let's find out the real reason. Let's figure out how we can help you, and let's put a game plan together that protects you. Not, what if something happens, but even if. But speaking of new construction, there are some crazy deals right now with new construction. And I think there are some myths about new construction. You mind if we go over those quickly, girly?
Sure.
All right. So there are some myths surrounding new construction. We are so thankful. Like, we are so lucky to be living in a community and in a region that has new construction.
Tons of it. Yeah.
Tons of it. That's helping so many people be able to buy houses because, one, they're offering incredible interest rates and tons of upgrades.
And who doesn't want a brand new home?
Right? Well, some people are worried about condition. That's one of the reasons why people don't want to buy a house.
Because why?
The homes aren't built as quality as they used to be.
Is that true?
Depends on the builder is my answer. Like, there's this builder in West Roseville who, this lady, her husband passed. So they were married like 30 years and they lived in the same house for like 30 years. She wanted a fresh start. So she sold the house. She bought a new build. It's a brand new house. There's no memories. It's, it's a clean slate. And so she pays for these upgrades, has this beautiful kitchen and all this stuff installed. And she moves in, let's say it was January. In February, her water heater stops working. And then the builder, because it's under warranty, they come out, they repair the water heater. In March, her AC stops working. So they come out and they repair the AC. In April, the water heater they repaired goes out again, and they can't repair it. They actually have to replace the water heater. The house is brand new. Like, it's less
like
than
a few months
it's
old.
just a couple months old,
Yeah.
right? And so now the water heater's gone out twice, the AC has gone out once, and she's like, okay, well, maybe just some bugs needed to be worked out. My home warranty, the builder warranty covered all this. So, it's good. That's one of the benefits to buying a new construction home. Then a lot of these new homes, they have the fire suppression systems, like the sprinkler systems in the homes. So they have water lines running through the ceilings. Well, above that beautiful kitchen that you paid a bunch of money to get upgraded,
I know where this is going.
the water line burst, flooded her entire kitchen.
Gosh.
And so this home that was supposed to be like a fresh start, a clean slate, moving past the pain and trouble that she'd experienced with her husband going through cancer and dying, has now turned into another headache. And that was because, and turns out the neighbor across the street has issues, the neighbor to her right has issues. So yes, there are good builders and bad builders, and so I wouldn't necessarily say all homes today are shoddy, but you got to know what you're buying. And so that's where a good realtor comes into play. Like I would tell you, I know who you should probably buy from and who you probably shouldn't. And I don't like lawsuits, so I'm not saying it on the air. So if you want to know that, go to madeformorerealty.com and we'll have a private conversation. But another myth why people don't like new builds is because they think builders don't negotiate. Right now, they are negotiating like nobody's business. They are buying down your interest rate permanently. They are throwing in solar.
What kind of interest rate could you get? With
fours. You can get it in the fours. A permanent interest rate in the fours with a builder.
Literally got a 4.9 for a guy 2 weeks ago.
And that's another benefit to having, like, they're more willing to do that if you come in with an agent because you don't really know what
you don't know the questions to ask.
You don't know the questions to ask. You don't know what other builders are offering, so you don't know they don't know what to compare it against. So there's so many reasons why you can consider new builds.
Yeah, like including the solar system, like you said. That could be a potentially $20,000 value of owned solar that the builder just gave you.
And then when you turn around and sell the house, you don't have to go, oh, can they assume the lease?
It's $170 a month.
Yeah,
can
they
afford
assume the lease? No, they don't want to assume the lease. They want the owned solar. So anyways, if you're looking at homes, and there are some homes out there, some beautiful homes that you can get in the 400s.
Yeah.
They're not Taj Mahals, but if you're looking for a brand new home with new systems, new plumbing, new wiring, up to code, modern standards, energy efficient in the 400s, talk about live there for a little bit and then turn that into a rental.
Amazing rental properties. Yeah. Investments. Like if you're looking to buy an investment property and you've got the extra money to do so, incredible opportunity.
Or just buy one in new construction. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. So if you like the what Valary provides for her clients, if you like all the different things that we talked about today, if you want a great deal on a home or you want to sell your home for top dollar, go to madeformorerealty.com and reach out. We're happy to help. Thanks for being on the show today, sweetheart.
No problem.